Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm back on the garden furniture refurbishment. See you in a minute. Now, a couple of weeks ago I did the little outside table that needed a new oak top putting on it. Now it's time to move on to the benches themselves. There are 3 benches to do. They're all the same, all identical units, but I've just got the one that I brought back with me to work on at the moment, get the whole thing settled down and all the measurements right, and then I can just soon do the other 2 as a follow-up from that, as long as I make a note of where all the inserts have got to go and things like that. So we'll make a start on that and see how far we get with it this week. Now, having taken the coffee table, garden table apart the other week for this oak furniture repair job, it's time to move on and have a look at the chairs, the benches. There are 3 of these to do, and again it will be replacing the slats and leaving the benches as original as possible. Now, they are sort of a bit heavy and clumsy with the bolts holding them together, and that is because I believe the lady's late husband owned a foundry, iron foundry, and therefore they look as if they've been something that they use there more than suitable for the garden. So I'm going to have to replace these. I think I can't get away with reusing what's there like I did with the table, although it was mentioned by the lady that we could. I'm not really happy with these. Are certainly rusty metal, and I'm going to need to do a bit of work to get them off, I think. I've still got this dilemma with steel and oak, which do not mix very well at all, and it's not been a problem on the table because I was using bronze type screws. I've had a look round and I can't get hold of any more. They just happen to have come with that table. And I could probably go a bit further and have a look at ship's chandlers and things like that, because they may well have something suitable, but I suspect it's going to cost a lot of money. So I've come up with a separate idea to test out on the first one, and that is to use my old friends, the threaded insert. I've got some fairly small ones in brass, which I think I'm going to drill a hole in a piece of oak, not all the way through, drop the insert in, and then we can screw in from behind with a stainless steel bolt. So there's not going to be anything on the surface showing, and any steel is going to be in contact with either the frame, which is cast iron, or the insert itself, which is brass. It's all kept away from the oak, and I think that will work. I've just drilled a hole which is 10.5mm in a piece of mahogany, and I threaded one of the inserts, because these haven't got they're not like the ones with an Allen key to drive them in. These are actually just threaded on the inside and threaded on the outside. But I've just put a couple of nuts on with a lock nut, put them on, driven that into that hole, and then undone it, and it comes out leaving the insert behind. I might put a spot of super glue, but I don't think I'll need it. And what that does, it gives me something that will screw into the bench slat from underneath, bolt it to the frame, and then I can do that up tight, and it won't have the hole right the way through. It'll just be a blind hole. And if it doesn't work, it's no great loss, because all I will have done is drilled a hole halfway through in the place where I've got to drill a hole anyway for a bolt, and so I'll just carry on, drill all the way through, and put a bolt with a countersunk or relieved hole in the top for the head of the bolts. So that's the plan. We'll prep up the timber as we did before. I'll put some of these inserts in and we'll see how that works in a real life situation. Now, I didn't measure the original seat up for timber, I was just given a cutting list effectively. So I need to establish first of all where all the parts that I've got go, because I've got a series of different sized pieces here that are 175mm, 125mm, 100mm, 90mm and 75mm, and I've got the remnants of what was left after they'd chainsawed one in half for me. So I think I can fill in the jigsaw from that. The back itself is 170mm, so that's the 175mm piece that was measured for there. That's not a problem, so that's my top back. The lower back part is, well, it looks like 130, but I've got a 125 measure, so that'll be that one. I've got a 100mm there, which has got a cutout in it to go around the rear back support. So that takes me one of the 100mm pieces. I've not got a full piece there, but that's going to have to be the 70mm piece because nothing else will fit in that gap. That is the 90mm piece, which will leave a 100mm piece at the front, which will just come right on the front edge. So the pieces are right that I've got, they will fit. Just trying to establish the various points that are relevant. As I suspected by the measurements I'd got of the timber, it's not symmetrical, although there are two 100mm planks front and back. That V is not symmetrical about those two openings. So we've got that established. All I need to do now is work out where the 100mm ones will sit and how that will leave the gaps for the other two. Right, rather than get this wrong with oak, I've just cut myself 4 pieces of cheap nasty plywood from China, which will be the same size as the seat slats, and that'll give me a chance to get them spaced out in the right sort of places and check out all the clearances I need for the rails, the back and the front, things like that. So we'll just do those cutouts, see what we get left. Right, that's got me, I think, an idea. It's useful to do something like that purely and simply because, having done it roughly in a mock-up, you can then get an idea of what you need to do when you come to do it properly. I've just developed these on a bit further. I've scribed the shape I need to get the 35 or mil or thereabouts overhang outside the edge of the bench and round off one corner, and then we'll have the normal slats again in the middle, which will be straight, and then I've done another cut there, which will be the sort of shape I'll need on that one as well. And that way now I've got some idea in terms of templates that I can use to do the cutting on the boards. Now, because these slats for the benches were all cut to more or less what I wanted but not exact sizes, it means that I've got to trim them all up to right length now, and I'm just going about that. I've just got all the offcuts that I've just trimmed one end up so that we've got a nice clean square cut on the far end. That'll be good. And I'm just putting up a series of bits and pieces on the bench which will or should get me to exactly the length I want. I've clamped the saw to the MFT bench, and with any luck that should give me about 1.35, which it does. I think it's, yeah, it's probably 4 mil over, but that doesn't matter because I want them all to be the same size. That's the important thing. So I'm just going to cut them all now down so that we've got all of the slats exactly the same length. Right, that's got all the timber cut to the lengths that I need. They're all exactly the same now. So all I need to do really is split it into the sets of 3 to make the 3 benches, because they're all different size slats. And we can make a start on cutting the ends on the first one and getting all the holes drilled in the back to take the inserts. What I'm going to do, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get it to cut in here, but I've marked it both sides, and I'm just going to take these pieces out and then we can file and rasp it to shape from then on. First cut. Good, that's the first bit done. I've done both ends, so that's the first scary bit done. I've just made a mark from underneath where the bolt will go through, and I'm going to settle that on 50mm in and 32mm up. I can repeat that on the other end. We can put the inserts in. Right, I've zeroed the depth stop to 13mm below the surface of this. Should zero out, that should be showing about, no, it's 14, so it'll just come up a bit, I think. Let's zero that and go down 13, zero it again. I've put a smear of super glue on it as well before the thread went in, just to hopefully give it a bit of extra bonding. Right, I've got some M8 bolts that are 30mm long. I'm going to screw them in just to see what the clearance is. I need 15mm for the actual seat. Hopefully that's close. Yeah, it's 15 probably and a half, so I don't know whether it'll work. We'll see how it tightens up. It may need an extra washer at the moment until I get the right bolts, but we'll go and try it first and see if it holds it together. Right, that's got the front piece secured. Because the lugs are on the slope anyway, it's difficult to get it fully tightened and the ends upright. So what I'm going to do now is square them upright and square to the bench. Make sure it's all plumb and straight, and then I can put the large back one on, drill the holes for that, and then that'll give me the L-shaped secured both on the back and on the front. Okay, so I think I'm on the right track. I've got the back one and the front one fixed now, and the whole thing has become solid and rigid. That's without the back, the one that's got to be cut there, and the other two slats. So yeah, tomorrow we'll get on and cut that one the same as the fronts. I'm quite pleased with that. There's a bit of work to do still on that to tidy it up, I think, but we've got all the roundovers to do anyway yet, and we can sand it all at the same time. Okay, so I think that's got most of the difficult bit done, if you like. Now on this I've got to start and put the remaining inserts in the plain pieces, and then do a bit of tidying up on the actual slats themselves, do roundovers and things like that, sanding it smooth and just getting the finish on the wood. Hopefully we'll get that done in a week or two's time, but that's as far as I can get to take it this week. Hope it was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different. I'll hope to see you then. Bye.